Could you just briefly describe who you are and what Face Pacific actually does?
Myself, Frank Capillari, I'm the managing director of the company. What we do as a company, we deliver test, security and automation solutions across networks and applications. And we do that by partnering with some leading suppliers, organizations that deliver really what is considered to be some of the best products and solutions in the marketplace. And we also partner with local organizations on large projects. And we've been doing that for quite some time and working with some of our leading telcos, finance, defence organisations within Australia.
Add to that is we've been around for 20 years. Our customers range from NBN, Telstra, defence, the banks, utilities, and it's a varied range of organisations that we've helped with network issues and with application issues.
So what was the problem you were facing when you reached out to me? What did you hope to get? What did you hope to achieve?
Okay. Well, look, I guess the problem was driven, interestingly enough, by the addition of a new salesperson that we put on board. A more junior salesperson in some regards, and we felt that we needed to look for some outside assistance in trying to help elevate this person's abilities in selling, and particularly given that we were looking to our approach to the selling process was really not so much selling product but rather selling solutions. So we just felt that perhaps while we were doing our own coaching, we just thought maybe a third party, someone from outside coming in, could provide us with some new ways of helping this particular person and seeing whether or not that might also, I guess, provide the old dogs with some new tricks on how to go about doing the job.
So how did you find me and why did you even choose me?
I guess I found you first, and on LinkedIn of all places. So LinkedIn does kind of work for finding opportunities for people. And I just went through a couple of your video clips that you had on there, and I thought, oh, this was interesting. I remember sharing it with Bruno. And Bruno, I can't remember what your thoughts would have been at the time. But when Bruno and I started talking about the need for bringing someone on board, I guess you came to mind as a result of what we saw on your LinkedIn posts.
How do you feel that I helped you?
From my perspective, and I'd like Bruno to sort of also provide his thoughts on this as well, but certainly I guess you've come in and you've provided us with an opportunity to provide to look at a fresh outlook in terms of the way we approach our selling and approach our prospects. I guess you challenged us a little bit in our traditional approach of how we would typically call on customers and the sorts of the language that we would typically use. And you gave us some fresh ideas on that. I mean, you went through some of the principles behind why. I thought that was good as well. You talked about what would be important to prospects and why. So looking at it from not just from a business point of view, but looking at it also from a personal perspective in terms of the impact that business might have on that particular prospect from a personal aspect as well, and taking that into consideration and really looking at what how we would approach that particular individual, that particular person, looking at how we would approach different roles within an organization based around the industry that we were looking at. So I think you gave us some good techniques. You gave us some, as I said, some food for thought in terms of the language that we would use and our approach. And I resonated quite well with the idea that picking up the phone was key. trying to get someone on a phone call was really important, as opposed to just relying on email and or LinkedIn. That's my take, Bruno.
Yeah, look, from I've been a pre-sales engineer for as long as I can remember, and our historical roots are with HP. We both worked there for quite a significant amount of time, and when you work in an environment with a vendor like that, you're used to selling boxes, which is, feature and function. It was quite evident to us that over time that style of selling was not going to get us to where we wanted to go. The conversations we were having with customers was quite evident that they had problems that needed to be resolved and they needed solutions for it. And so we made the conscious decision to put ourselves in a position where we can change the framework that we build ourselves and how we interact with our customers. And what we saw from what you delivered, that aligned quite well with where we wanted to be.
So if I was to ask you if there was a special sauce that I provided, or what my special sauce would be, if any, what would you say?
It is your style, I guess, in your approach to delivering the message to us based on your own experience and also based on how can I put it? Based on your experience and also being able to challenge us, but challenging us not in a confronting way, making us really think about what it is we're saying and what it is we're doing and why we're doing it, and providing examples, providing some of the anecdotal information of your own past experience of what works and what didn't work and why it worked, things of that nature. So I think that your particular style, it wasn't regimented in any way, shape or form. It wasn't a training class. It was coaching along the way, and we could come to you and talk to you and bounce ideas. And I think all of that combined is probably what made it work.
No, I mean, for me, just repeating it, it really was that alignment. You continued unwaveringly on the solution style selling, trying to get to the heart of the problem with the customer and trying to, a little bit in their shoes to be able to understand what their problems are and what the impacts would be. Again, that was what we needed. It was a good fit. Absolutely.
What would you say the results have been? And I know it's still early days, but what have you learned? What have you implemented, I guess, would be another way of looking at it.
Well, you're right. It is early days. And interestingly enough, we're about to embark on a major marketing campaign where we have quite a large list of customers that we are targeting in a specific market segment, mid-enterprise, around security application. And I guess a lot of the work that we've done through our 4 months together really has focused on building, I guess, the approach that we would take to that. And we're about to really put that into action. We have a lot of techniques, and we have a lot of scripts, a lot of questions that have come out from the exercises that we've worked on together in terms of how to approach the customer, what are the following questions that we ask, and what is the primary objective of that call that we're trying to make? What are we trying to achieve? Obviously, ultimately, it's a sale, but it's a journey, really, and we're ready for that, I think, and that's what we're about to embark. So, we're now about to put it all into action, I hope.
So, who would you recommend to us to, and why?
Basically, I would recommend you to similar companies to ours, particularly companies who perhaps are, even though we've been around for quite some time, we're reinventing ourselves because we are stepping into a new market. And I would suggest that, I would definitely recommend you to, organizations that are either in the early phases of the business, or they are like us, reinventing themselves and need to have perhaps a new perspective on what they're doing, a new perspective on the approach that they're taking, to be challenged a little bit, because, you know, Bruno and I have both been around for a long time, and as Bruno said, we've sort of had the HP brush, and therefore sometimes you can be set in your ways. But, you know, getting a third person such as yourself to come in and really provide a little bit of a challenging approach to what we're doing, and looking at whether or not we're going down the right path, and maybe questioning, well, is that really what you want to do? Is that really the right way to do it? I think that's important, and that's probably why to be challenged is, I think, important, and it's the only way you're going to learn.